Hey, what's going on everyone? I'm the OPJellicent and we are team building for week number 6 of the GBA D-League, up against Aaron 2420, coach of the Calgary Infernapes. We've both had pretty rough seasons so far. We are currently 0-5, he is 1-4, so we're both really hoping to win this game right now, but he has a really scary roster. I actually did not build my team this week. I unfortunately did not have a ton of time to build, and Dallas Boy 1992 actually hit me up on Discord and built a team for me which was pretty in-depth, so I decided to go ahead and reload that instead of building my own team. So big shout outs to him. Of course, I will go ahead and link him down below in the description for all of you to check out. But yeah, this is not my build this week, just want to go ahead and cover that at the beginning of the video. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and go over his 11 Pokemon, which you can see over on the right of your screen. Then we will go through the 6 Pokemon that I am bringing individually, which you can see at the top of your screen, and get my thoughts on the matchup as a whole. So let's go ahead and get into Aaron's roster. Alright, first Pokemon he has right here is the Mega Kangaskhan, which is definitely a big threat. It is his Mega of choice, and it's definitely not as big of a threat as it was once back in the Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire XY meta, but despite the nerf, it still definitely has a ton of viability. Hits twice with that parental bond, and is just a really nice hole puncher. I have to double check whether Seismic Toss is allowed on it or not. I'll be sure to go ahead and check that before we battle coming up right now. But yeah, Mega Kangaskhan, it's pretty predictable. It's going to run stuff like Sucker Punch, Fake Out, maybe Double Edge, but definitely very good at what it does. And his next Pokemon right here is the Thundurus Incarnate. His first of 2 Z-move users alongside the Archeops. It does get access to stuff like Prankster, Defog, and Thunderwave, but other than that, it can run like a Scarf set to outspeed my Latias by 1 point, as well as always outspeed stuff something like Scarf Landorus Incarnate if he is expecting that. Could also be a really nice anti-Isolgor lead just because you could Scarf Voltage out into another Pokemon and just knock me out. Say he leads off with Scarf Thunder, he Voltages out, brings in Kangaskhan and fakes out my Isolgor, and that's the end of Isolgor right there. So I could see Scarf, I could also see something like a Life Orb 3 attacks Nasty Plot, but just a gigantic problem with Thundurus High right there. He also has that Hydreigon, which is also another defogger. It doesn't get Prankster, thankfully, but it's definitely a very big problem too. We actually don't have very good Dragon Resists outside of our Florges, and I believe Hydreigon does get access to Flash Cannon, so definitely something we do have to consider. We do also have our Registeel Solution, but obviously does get access to Earth Power, so we may have to predict around it, but I definitely do think we have the tools to try to handle Hydreigon this week. Next up he has the Volcanion, which also gets Defog, so you can see with all of the defoggers and rapid spinning potential on Donphan he has, it's going to be very hard to hazard stack him, so that's actually not the route that I decided to go. But Volcanion, definitely a very big threat. Manaphy can take its dual stab very well, and thankfully it's down to Z-move user, so he can't like a Z Bloom Doom me or anything. Latias can definitely take it on very well too, but even Spec Steam Eruption is doing like a clean 35 to 40% to those Pokemon, so definitely something to consider. Next up he has the Bronzong, which is a very great Latias response. I actually have a pretty cool tech on my Latias that Dallas Boy provided me this week to try to handle Bronzong, so hopefully we can go ahead and use that. But other than that, it can also switch into Mega Pinsir pretty decently, Landorus Incarnate, since obviously it does get access to Levitate, and it can switch into Florges and Registeel, those kinds of Pokemon, so I definitely think it'll come. It definitely has potential to switch into a lot of things on my roster. But yeah, next up he has the Archeops, which I'm kind of expecting either like a Band Archeops or like a Hone Claws Archeops. I'm not really sure yet, but definitely a very big problem right there too. It does get access to Stealth Rocks, and it is another defogger, so lots of hazard control right here. And then finally his last form of hazard control is his Rapid Spinner, which is Donphan, and I don't believe we have a Ghost type, so it'll definitely Rapid Spin when it comes out, so definitely not hazard stacking this week. But Bronzong is threatened by quite a few of my Pokemon too. It's threatened by Manaphy as well as my Latias, could drop a Spectre Draco on that thing, and Xurkitree does get access to Energy Ball, so I'm kind of on the fence as to whether or not Donphan will come, but it definitely does have some potential. Shelmet doesn't have much viability right here. It's blown back by Mega Pinsir, Xurkitree, Crobat, all of that stuff, so I don't see Shelmet. Hariyama does have a niche, but at the same time it's really not going to be switching into stuff like Latias, Mega Pinsir, Manaphy if I do carry Psychic, or even Surf will do a good amount to that thing, so Hariyama is definitely a very questionable bring right here too. And then finally Clefable, which I do think will come. It can switch into my Latias, unaware can handle Tailglow Manaphy. Mega Pinsir does always 2-hit KO it though, which is very nice. But unaware Clefable definitely does have some viability to help out with Tailglow Manaphy, Tailglow Xurkitree, anything like that. But yeah, those are his 11 Pokemon, definitely a very scary roster, and let's go ahead and go over the team that Dallas Boy provided me. Alright, first Pokemon we have right here is our Mega Pinsir, which is running an SD3 attacks variant. without quick attack, which Dallas Boy explained. Close combat is definitely very nice to hit Mega Kangaskhan as well as Hydreigon, and it does also hit Bronzong for at least some damage, and Earthquake can definitely help pick off Volcanion, and it definitely does do more than the return, so that's definitely very nice. And the only thing quick attack would actually be very helpful against would be Roserade, and we do have the speed tier to guaranteed outspeed Roserade as long as it's not Choice Scarf, so that's definitely very cool. And the only Pokemon that actually naturally outspeeds us on his roster, I believe, are the Thundurus Incarnate and the Archeops, and quick attack would not be very useful against them anyway, so definitely with the speed tier, the 3 attacks variant without quick attack was definitely the way to go. And then we have Swords Dance on there just to potentially pick up a sweep in case we do get rid of those 2 faster Pokemon and scout his Scarfer, but yeah, hopefully Mega Pinsir can come through, and let's go ahead and move on to our Registeel. Second Pokemon that we have right here is our Registeel, which is running a Rock Polish Sweeper, which you might find very interesting, but we actually do cover a fair portion of his team. Brick Break is, I'm assuming, for the screens from Bronzong in case he tries to set those up, but Ice Punch and Iron Head alone actually have very good coverage against this team. I believe the only thing that they don't hit in combination is the Volcanion, so definitely has potential. I believe Dallas said the attack investment with the Adamant Nature is to guarantee that we 2-hit KO Thundurus Incarnate on the switch in with Ice Punch, so that's definitely very nice, and we definitely 2-hit KO Roserade as well. So mainly the things that are stopping this are the Bronzong and the Volcanion. If I don't see sweeping potential, I might just use it as some sort of like mid-game breaker, try to predict it random, maybe predict the Thundurus to come in and go for Ice Punch could definitely be very nice, but yeah, that's kind of the whole idea with the Registeel right here. Rock Polish if we see the opportunity, because I believe if we Rock Polish we might outspeed Archeops. That's a big statement, but maybe that may be the case, but definitely hoping Registeel can do some work right here, even if we don't get that Rock Polish up. So let's go ahead and move on to our Xurkitree. Alright, our third Pokemon we have right here is our Xurkitree, which is running an Assault Vest set, and pretty much this is a dedicated Thundurus Incarnate response. If he runs a Thundurus Incarnate with something like Thunderbolt, Hidden Power Ice, and then Darkinium Z Dark Pulse to hit my Latias, it's just a giant problem for my team, so this is our dedicated response to that. After Rocks, we do definitely 2-hit KO with Dazzling Gleam, and Volt Switch does like 60% if we do want to switch out, and his only good switch into Volt Switch would be Donphan, and even that doesn't want to take Energy Bell, which we're not running, we have Grass Knot, but it could be some sort of Rindo Berry set, so that's definitely something he does have to keep into consideration. We do have a bit of Spidef on there just to help us take hits from something like Roserade. I believe the Spidef allows us to take a Leaf Storm from Specs Roserade after Rocks, is I believe the calc that I was given, but I'll have to double check on that. But yeah, pretty much dedicated Thundurus Incarnate response. We don't want to get 6-0'd by that, but like any sort of Nasty Plot variant, so hopefully that can work out, and let's go ahead and move on to our Latias. Next up here we have our Latias, which is running a Choice Scarf variant with Defog, Trick, Draco, and Psywave. Very interesting set, but me and Dallas both agreed that Choice Scarf Latias is the best way to outspeed both of his potential Scarfers, which were Hydreigon and the Roserade, but the main point of this is to trick a Scarf to either the Clefable or the Bronzong, and then hit them with Psywave, because Psywave I believe does set damage, so it either does 1.5 the damage of your level, so 50 goes to 75, or it does half, so 25, so hopefully we can get some rolls in our favor right there, but other than that, Draco Meteor is the coverage that we are opting to go for, and Defog, just in case rocks do become kind of annoying. He does have quite a few rockers. The Donphan, the Archeops, the Bronzong all get rocks, and I believe the Clefable too, so Defog is definitely a necessity on this Pokemon, but really to his speed control and to cripple his walls with Trick Scarf, so hopefully Latias can do its job this week. Let's go ahead and move on to Manaphy. Alright, second to last mon we have right here is our Manaphy, which is running a Wakan Berry, max special attack, max speed, timid variant, pretty offensive set. It's pretty obviously a Thundurus Incarnate Letter 2. We can take that Thunderbolt and Oko him back with Ice Beam, I believe most of the time, guaranteed after any sort of chip damage or rocks, which is definitely very cool. Also is able to outspeed the Hydreigon naturally, which is very nice, as well as the Roserade, so all things to consider right there. It's also probably my best Bronzong switch in. The worst he can do to me is like Toxic me, and we can wear him down with Surf and such. And it can also be nice against stuff like Archeops, and it is a very nice Donphan response. We have Hidden Power Electric on there for, I'm not sure what, when I'm looking at his roster right now. I'll have to double check with Dallas Boy, but I'll definitely ask him about that, because maybe for Volcanion, yeah, it's definitely Volcanion now that I look at it, so that's what Hidden Power Electric is there for. And then U-Turn is just there for momentum. In case I want to U-Turn on something like Hydreigon, or if I'm predicting a switch into like Bronzong or Roserade, U-Turn can definitely be very nice there. I'll also ask him if I want to make it a minus defense or minus attack nature too, because That U-turn chip damage could definitely be very nice, but that bulk is definitely very clutch too. So that's our Manaphy. Let's go ahead and move on to our final Pokemon. And our final Pokemon right here is our Landorus Incarnate, which has a pretty similar idea to our Manaphy, in the sense that it lures Thunderous Sigh with our Yache Berry. As you can see, we can easily take that hidden power Ice and then knock it out with Stone Edge, which is very cool. And we can take Ice moves from a lot of other Pokemon too. We guaranteed live and HP Ice from Volcanion, which if he decides to go for that instead of Steam Eruption, say trying to catch my Latias too, we can go ahead and take that hit and then Stone Edge and knock it out. Same thing with the Roserade. Scarf Roserade has terrible defense, so we can take a hit and Power Ice. Either U-turn out, get up Rocks, that kind of thing. And Rocks are definitely very cool for something like a Mega Pinsir support, as well as Scarf Latias and Manaphy cleaning potential. So that is going to be our team for this week 6 battle against Aaron. Let me know what you guys think. Would you have built anything differently? Once again, be sure to go ahead and check out Dallas Boy down below. He was a very big help to me this week. Match will be up tomorrow at, I believe, 10 a.m. Eastern, so be sure to go ahead and tune into that. And I'll see you next time. Later.